Hello, everyone. Welcome to Headmaster's Homeroom. I am Lady Hamilton. Welcome to Friday night. We have another phenomenal guest for you tonight. I'm so excited to introduce her and what she has started. So I want to say welcome to everybody. I am so thrilled that you guys are all here. Before we get started, you guys know how much I love to talk about my wonderful producer. So a great way to help us out, everybody. We're just going to kick that right out. Is I love to say buy him a coffee. So you guys can go to buy me a coffee /Scott Adams. And oh boy, he deserves it, everybody. He's been working so hard. He's been at a local convention talking about things that are going to help people heal. It was just an amazing presentation, and boy, he's just working hard behind the scenes. So that's a great way to support us, and we love to do this as a service for you, and it's a great way to say thank you. So again, buy me a coffee /Scott Adam. That would be wonderful. Also, you guys know how much I love my honey, so we're going to start out with some of the best honey in the world. I will be using this again, as we cook and stuff like that for the Sunday shows. You guys know how much I love my honey. So that's another way to help us out is to go to nourishmaui.com, and you get 22% off if you use the code Liberty. So let me introduce you to Be Nourished, some of the world's best honey.
Honey. It's one of the greatest gifts to man. With millions of wildflowers in every bottle, the nourishing power of honey is still yet to be fully discovered. Be Nourished Healing Products combines healing ingredients from around the planet to the purest honey from the island of Maui to bring magic to your taste buds. The best honey from the most beautiful place to nourish your body, mind, and soul. From our hearts to yours, be nourished.
And we're back. So again, if you guys want some of the best honey, I'm telling you, one of my favorites is that turmeric honey. Just surprised me like crazy. It's just so good, and I use it for everything. But we know that turmeric's so good for our body, for inflammation, for our heart, for everything. It's just really a great, and they blend the two so good. So when they say healing products, I'm telling you, it is amazing. Also, I just want to do another little shout out for my Sunday show. If you haven't seen it, that was a great concert. If you need something uplifting, some great new contemporary worship music, they just nailed that out of the park. So I encourage you to look at any of my shows, please, right? I mean, love it. And always make sure, you guys, what really, really helps us is to hit those thumbs up, those likes, those follows, those share, and subscribing if you want to help us out that way too. Rumble rants are another great way to help us out. But that was just impressive. And thank heavens, the streams went down. It just went on so beautifully. They played so beautifully. And I was so excited to do a first concert ever. But, I love who I'm meeting. I love these groups on True Social. It just blew my mind. If you're thinking it's a very political platform, I think a lot of them are. It doesn't matter, but there are some amazing things happening on Truth, and it's in these groups. And you can look them up, and they're anything from homeschooling to gardening to music to art. And I've also invited my last two guests to join Truth to do the same, because so many artists are selling their artwork, and they're sending out their books, and authors. I mean, they're just amazing, writing children's books, the art to go with the children's work, and Leah and Brian, if you're watching, have collaborated together, and that's one of the reasons I'm so excited to bring on our next guest too, because I love the collaborations. You guys all know how much I love to make you shine and show you off and help you celebrate what you're doing around the nation. I definitely got tired of not seeing any news. Everything seems to be fear. And I just was like, very thankful that our producer lets me have this show where I get to highlight you and what you're doing around this nation. And so I was able to introduce my last two Friday guests, tonight's guest and last Friday's guest as well, to not only True Social, but these groups, so they can collaborate and do things together to bring their great work to more of you. So make sure, if you're not over there yet, You go check it out. I was completely surprised. I love it. Loving the groups. But we are also tonight on Facebook and Twitter and Odyssey and YouTube and D Live and Red Pilled. And I want to say hello to all of you so much. Thank you so much for being a part of this and watching my show. I appreciate you. However you can like, follow, and share, please do so, because that also helps our platform. And it's really about getting out the message of well, at least with me, right? My producer does more of our news and political. And if you want to watch a great show, please do watch his show. But for me, I get to introduce these wonderful guests and what you guys are doing around the nation. So it's a great way to not only help our platform, but to help my guests bring awareness to what they're doing in the communities as well. So we sure do appreciate you all. And I personally am saying how much I appreciate you. So thank you, everybody. And let's get started, because I have an amazing guest for you tonight. So tonight, and through collaborations from a previous guest, I was introduced to Brittany Sadler. She is married to a wonderful husband and has 2 sons under the age of under 3 years old. She has a passion for books, entrepreneurship, and Christian values. When starting her company, Faith Lit LLC, she was able to combine all 3 of these passions into one: a children's book club, which provides wholesome and family-friendly books, aligning with a biblical worldview. Sorry, everybody, for slaughtering that. But Brittany, as I've met her, she is phenomenal, and I love her mission. So let's welcome Brittany to the show.
Hey, everybody. How are you doing today?
To the Headmaster's Homeroom. I am so thrilled to have you. And I was telling people that through a publisher, Clayton, he was on our show before, and he reached out to me. He's like, "You've got to meet this lady. She is phenomenal." And I love that we've spoken a little bit before, and I love your mission going forward. Just so everybody knows, I do get to know my guests to a certain limit, because I like to know a lot about them as much as you guys do out there. And I feel if I ask them all the questions up in front, then I totally forget. So I want you guys to understand that this is something that she started too. Was it 2020 that you started this, Brittany?
No, it was actually last year.
Last year.
So,
go ahead.
Yeah, almost a year ago exactly, the concept came to mind. And then about August is when the LLC was officially in place.
Mm-hmm.
So we're very new.
Right. It takes a little bit of time, everybody, to do that, to build up your corporation, get all your paperwork done. I should know, but I'm so excited. So was this something that you've done like before? I mean, what did you do before? What was the moment where you decided, I need to start this?
Well, I guess first, so I actually have a degree in entrepreneurship. And so I just have always had a business mindset in regards to ideas. This would be a great idea. This wouldn't be, after I think about it a little bit longer. But the main thing is I had kids, and I wanted to start building their library. I feel like there's a need to not only build your child's library, but try to get books, because we don't know what's going to disappear one day. And so between that, I had the desire to build a library, and I started looking, and the companies that I was finding couldn't provide what I was desiring, which was just, I want books that are sent to me that I can choose from, and they're wholesome and family friendly. And it's a big plus if they're Christian for me. And I couldn't find that. Nobody could promise me that. And I found several of the other book box subscription companies were promoting values that didn't align with mine. And so since I couldn't find it, I decided to, I think I'm just going to go ahead and start this. And I felt like it was a need, something that I really wanted. And I just felt like more people might want it as well.
And I couldn't agree with you more, especially as we're seeing with APL and NLA, which is your Associated Public Libraries, national, and then the National Libraries Association. And if people haven't seen this either, Kirk Cameron's also sharing information about this. And we see this in the schools too, where it's not about banning books, it's regulating porn, in
Yes.
our school.
Yes.
And and I saw, and I heard Clayton talk about this too, that he was even getting banned with Amazon, and they were not going to allow them to sell Christian books on, and people were getting banned for that. And I don't necessarily understand, the censorship of books. I do understand regulation of books, but to sit there and to suppress this group is horrible.
Mm-hmm.
And we're seeing this, and they're fighting to put these back into the schools for the parents that are fighting to take them out. They're like, no, and it's true, by law that has to go back in there. So it's so important that parents have an ability to choose something they feel comfortable with, and that they know that they want their kids to read.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yes.
so tell us about. You said you had a thing in entrepreneurship. Did you work for a different company before?
Yeah. So I, like I said, I've been very much I brainstorm ideas, and I had never really found one that to me felt like it was purposeful with Christ. And this one definitely felt like that. And I'd never really found anything that fit, So I might often say my degree is really just a glorified business business degree. So I work in, along with Faithlit, I actually still work with a company in Houston in the oil industry.
Okay.
And so books, really, I have had a passion for books my whole life. As a kid, I would stay up late reading books. I know that's not very cool of me, but that's what I would get in trouble for, is staying up too late reading books. So my history is really just in a passion for books. And then this just kind of fell into my lap, really. Like I said, the idea came, and I prayed about it a lot. And I always tell a story of, I came to the point where I'd written out the business plan, and I was, just thinking, man, this is the point where I need to say either do this or get rid of the idea and go home. And my husband's not a big reader, and he's not that interested in the idea. But I told him, hey, I prayed about this, and I'm hoping, I even asked, God, can you speak to me through our sermon on Sunday? And if it was not the most like, you need to be making disciples in everything you do, the sermon was just so directly to me. And then it was also to my husband, because my husband turned to me and said, I guess you're starting a business with books, aren't you? Yes. Yeah, I think I am.
Isn't that great?
Yes, it was wonderful.
And that's something that most of my guests have like in common. I always just get baffled when I ask them, so when did you start this? How'd you get inspired? And when did it come to you? And I've heard from almost all of them, somewhere in 2020, maybe 2021, it seems like God just showed up and said, hey, I want you to start this, do this, right? And even if you've never done it before, it's like, I guess you're doing it now.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
And I said, he has been so busy lighting fires under his warriors, if you want to call us warriors or just want to call us, but he's just lighting fires going, you can do this or start this. And I am just so thrilled to hear this common denominator, right? It makes me really happy. And you're already building collaborations, because I've been able to introduce you, and stuff like that. And then you have Clayton, of course. But it's funny. You said something about love for reading. Mm-hmm. And I got my children, and people may know or may not know that my children are very disabled. And then my son is legally blind, but he still was able to learn how to read. And he did not know that when I got him. Loves reading. Okay. And even is learning, of course, Braille and everything. So, because he doesn't want to lose his passion for reading. But when he was young, I could have told that boy to go run laps. I could have told that boy to go cut wood. I could have probably even threatened to take, he didn't really have a cell phone, but any games or anything away, and nothing would faze him. But if I took his books away, he would throw a temper tantrum like the world was going to end. I mean, it's like his love for reading. And so when you told me your love for reading, I just still thought of my son. And I'm like, you're grounded from the books for one day. And he's like, what?
Yes, that was me. My parents used to joke, we don't know how to punish her, because if we send her to her room, she's just going to start reading. Right. So yes, that's I relate to your son.
My father would laugh. I mean, he just would laugh, because he's like, what a strange consequence. I'm like, but Dad, it's the only thing, if I needed him to do something, it's the only thing will work. And I'd go in there with like a little like a laundry basket or something. Okay, here comes the books. And he was like, no, Mom, please, I'll do whatever. It was great and rewarding to see that relationship. All my children love to read, but he was right. You could take those. That was his worst consequence in life.
I love it.
So, isn't that funny? So tell us about the kind of books that you've been able to get, because you told me that you vet these books really well.
Yes,
sure I use them.
Yes. So we screen every single book that we put out. And basically we're looking for a few different things. We believe in the nuclear family and the promotion of that. So we don't put out any books that go against that philosophy. We also vet for just making sure it's age appropriate, no sexual content. I mean, we focus for children ages 0 to 10. So there's really not any need for anything in
pornography.
Yeah, there's no need for that. And we have a couple customers that have actually contacted me, and some 12-year-olds and 13-year-olds that will pick our older book box, because even though they're geared towards younger kids, I mean, Harry Potter was geared towards younger kids, and yet, I mean, every age known to man was in there. Right. But I guess on Harry Potter note, that is an example of a book we would not have, because we don't put anything with that promotes witchcraft, which can be kind of that one's a little hard, because you have great books like Narnia and Lord of the Rings, and those are things where you have to really draw this line that not everybody may agree with, but that's just where we've drawn it. So that way, if you disagree with our stance and you want Harry Potter in there, you can go get Harry Potter. But just from our standpoint, we wanted to draw a line so that way our consumers knew where we were drawing it. And one of the things that we'll do is we'll put these little cards in each book box that tells you what we have found, like why we like this book, and if we think that there should be a warning, especially more so in the older books. Hey, this book does mention magic, but we felt like it didn't cross that line into promoting witchcraft. It would be on a card for the parent to note and say, hey, we disagree with this completely, and you get to return the book back to us within 7 days.
Oh, nice. I like that a lot. It's interesting because it also gives you a special niche that's just you. And it's, it makes you just separate. I mean, people, like you said, they could go buy, somewhere else. I mean, Harry Potter's not banned on Amazon or whatever, so it's easily available. But it gives you also your own little niche that just makes you special, which I really like that as well. Makes you stand out in your own way. So that is phenomenal. I have to put you in touch with another foundation as well, maybe for teenagers, because I am finding out there's some amazing books too. For teens as well that are out there that are just really well written. I mean, it may not even be Christian books, because I'm thinking of Ayn Rand.
Right.
I love them, and they're a great foundation. They have donated so many books to my school, but they're not. They're about reality. Even though they're fictional, it's still about the Russian Revolution, and she's done it in a very creative writing way. And it's not suitable necessarily for kids per se, but those are some examples of something that I don't know was your niche, but also some good classics I'd like to see come back that they seem to just not want to have as well. So
that preteen market, I would love one day if we get big enough to add that, because that's probably the most desired, because those kids are learning and getting more into the advanced works, but yet they're still not ready for any kind of inappropriate content, maybe to handle it the way that they should. So, I definitely have the goal of getting there one day where we do, the preteen books. But as of right now, with the size that we are, it'll be in that 0 to 10, but you're so right. And I gotta be honest, I call my job, like, I'm looking for clean books. But let me tell you, the amount of books that I find that are geared towards the ages of 4 to 8 and 8 to 12 that are highly inappropriate has been shocking to me. It really has been. It's just something that I wasn't prepared for. Like, you hear the news going on and you think it's only those books, but there really are so many out there that are extremely inappropriate that you might not know it until the last page of the book.
Wow.
And it's just been very eye-opening, to say the least.
And these are people that are coming to you that want to be included in your kits that you're finding that no?
No, I've only had a handful that I've actually said no to. And most of the time those people mean well, but they have, their main character may be a witch. That's a good witch. And I'm just, we don't promote that. If there's going to be a witch in it, they're probably going to be the evil person in a book that we are, putting out there. But, we even try to stay away from it as much as possible, just because it's such a gray area for a lot of people. But these are just books that I might get them from the library, a library list of books that are popular books.
That might be a problem.
Yes. Right. Well, I mean, online, like award-winning books, you can.
Right.
Texas has like a Blue Bonnets award book. Just because it's won an award does not mean it's okay. I've had books that are from 2012 that were award winners. And I automatically, I would have thought there was nothing wrong with them just based off of the summary of the book, the cover, nothing would give it away. And by the end of the book, there's sexual content at the end of it, and it's geared for ages 8 to 12. So It is, I'm not going to lie. Like if I wasn't doing this, I know these books would be eventually, if my boys take after me, they would eventually read this content, and I don't know that they'd be prepared to handle it.
Right. And you got a very good point. And right now our libraries are not necessarily, really thinking about it. It's almost like they're going out of their way to not highlight any kind of classics or Christian, and it's not even Christian books per se, but even classics are being not highlighted or removed. And you're like, are you serious? I mean, I've seen some something like I'm trying to think, Charles Dickens and things like that. You're like, seriously? These are classics. Why would they be removed from your list? I mean, so I don't necessarily understand that, but I'm so grateful for programs and people like you that are even holding on to these kind of things, or keeping them alive, I should say. But I bet you're seeing like a total shocker when you go get a library list and you're like, okay, what one of these books would I read to my kids?
Yes, and I used the list different. There's a couple lists that I've found that I believe librarians do use. And in all honesty, some of them, if the librarian's not actually reading the book, they may not even know that they're just going, if this is what was suggested to us, they might not even know what's in it. And it doesn't have to be, I try to screen for more than just what we tell people personally, because I don't want my kids, reading a book about a kid with a tantrum, or just a bad acting main character. So we even go that far. And and there's a lot of books with that in it, where you're just going, this character is awful. Why would you ever make this the lead character? And so it's been a lot more in depth than I thought it was going to be. I can say that for sure. And it makes you a little bit more concerned for everybody else that may not be aware. It's not just the books that you're hearing about in the news media. There's a lot more out there. Mm-hmm. I will also say we do put out books that are not what would be labeled as a Christian book. We just essentially are making sure they don't have anything in them that are going to go against those values.
Right. And I understand that. And to all fairness to all librarians who may be watching, that just comes down from the National Libraries Association. Mm-hmm. And I've learned this recently too. I tell everybody, to start something in your local libraries, because I started a side program to help youth find pathways to the future, like trade or college. When I was in my undergrad, I started that on the side, and my library just jumped at the chance. They're like, you want to start a reading program? You want to start an art program? I mean, they just loved it. And then when I reach out to my local ones right now, they're like, no, we don't want any part of that. Sorry, we're full up. I go, but your calendar's empty. But because they're held to that National Libraries Association, mm-hmm. they're, they just become almost anti. And I'm like, but aren't we trying to get the kids to be able to read?
Yeah.
I mean, so it's, so they might not even have, like you said, don't even have control over that. They should know those books, but they're not reading them.
I think, and like I said, I can't actually speak for the librarians. That's just kind of like my assumption based off of, I'm looking at this list and I'm saying, hey, okay, these look really interesting. Let me check them out. And then, full of they, thems, and all kinds of things that, like I said, if you want that book, that's fine. But for my consumers and myself, we're just looking for wholesome, family-friendly books.
I would really love, and this is just a personal favor, if you ever have time, and I know you're a busy mama, you got 2 kids under 3, I know how that is, but it'd be nice now that you're on the social medias to share, like if you ever get a list going, okay, beware, parents, this is a pornography book, or this is actually not age appropriate, this is not for a 10-year-old, maybe a 16-year-old, but definitely not, I think parents would appreciate that too, now that you're on, well, I know that you're on Facebook and Instagram,
yes.
But personally over here in Truth, world, because I'm on those too. And I think that parents also need to know the books, like, wow, okay, this one is really not what it says it is. And I think parents would appreciate that. So if you ever come across that, would you share that information with us? So as parents.
Sure. Yeah. So we actually, and oftentimes I put them in my stories, mainly just because I'm not quite prepared for commenting lashback of opinions. Not there yet, but we put them in our stories oftentimes on Instagram if we do run across one. Some of the other, I do have plans. I'm hoping to compile a list by the end of the year of just, all of the books that we have approved and all of the books of like why we disproved some of them. And honestly, I'll even put the books on the list that we just didn't approve because they were boring, Well,
and parents, I know at least over at Truth, parents will totally appreciate that. And there's a whole bunch of homeschooling groups there too that would totally appreciate that. And then understanding that, this is a huge amount of work, everybody, that she's doing to make sure that these are very clean books. Because, like, for instance, if you're teaching a kindergartner how to read or to, you're working on sight work, to your words, you're working on vocabulary, it should be about that.
Yes.
And I would imagine you have books like that for your, your beginning readers and so forth.
Yes. So yes, we do some beginning readers. And then for our I would call it our infant book box, but our 0 to age 3 is our little cub book box. Those are the ones that you're going to have some like lift the flaps with numbers, ABCs, and sentimental story every now and then. But that's the age group my kids are in. So I typically pick books that for that one that I want my kids to have. And a lot of times it is a little bit more educational geared. We even put classics in the book box, one, because it's a lot easier to vet those very quickly. So again, you will find those every now and then. It's very much a mix. I hope one day, again, if we get large enough that we could have, more variety of saying, if you just want classics, if you just want, pirate books for your kid, you can be a little bit more
selective.
That, again, those are all ideas that we have hoping to do in the future. But for now, the beauty of it, like I said, is that you can return any book within 7 days that if your kid doesn't like it, then you can return it and you'll get a full refund on that book.
Okay. Nice. So, you guys get a trial run on the books. That's really awesome, So tell us kind of how, I'm going to share your website here in just a minute. And before I forget, because I'm going to talk about, I know that Leah, and hopefully Leah's watching, but she's creating a book too, because about former presidents and so forth, President Trump. And it just reminds me about history, because that's my forte. And even little historical books that we're giving our children, because history is just being wiped out or re-altered to a certain view, and we're losing our history. Or it's being, like I said, told in a different alternating view. And I'm so happy that there are ones that are out there that are writing books, again, for children, maybe not a 3-year-old, but, so that they don't lose the history that we have had as well, and that things are being told accurately. So huge shout out for that. I hope that works out, because It's really, really great. And I hope that we find more authors to, I know of a few that we'll send your way that are really concerned too with our children and what are they reading? Well, what are the pictures? Here's something else too, because even if the book has good words, what are the images in that book, as well? And that's so vital that those two go hand in hand together. And
we will, if I can, I'd put a graphic novel in every book box for my older kids because graphic novels have become very popular. However, those have become the most difficult to screen because of so many little images that you have to try and look through to make sure that everything is appropriate. But you're not wrong, because there are a lot of books, I would say, in the 2 to 8-year-old age range that the wording is lovely. Love, be kind to everyone. Don't be mean just because somebody is different. And it sounds lovely, but the imagery, again, does not align with biblical values, including having, I believe, men in very inappropriate attire. There's one book, I wish I could think of the name off the top of my head, but yes, in sexual content in the imagery. And again, I was just shocked to see these things in 2 to 8-year-old.
A lot of graphics done this way.
Yes.
Right. We got a fairy princess, but how much clothes is a fairy princess wearing? You're like, right. So I understand how much it's so important that the imagery goes along with the clean book, right? And I thank you so much for reading it. So I'm going to add your website here. Let's do that. All right. So the first thing, everybody, you can just sign up here to even find out, and subscribe to the newsletter and to find out without even committing to anything. But this is just beautiful website. And you can see where the home, about us, book boxes, and shop. Oh, my pleasure. Tell us how this works, Brittany. If I'm brand new to your site, I've got a few little kids. What do you suggest, and how does this work? You told me that they come every month, but tell us about this little program.
So, we do have a FAQ at the bottom, or FAQ at the bottom, if anybody is wanting to go directly to there to see if there's any questions that they have. But essentially, the main thing that we ask people to do is tell us, it'd be up a little bit, but to tell us what age range you're shopping for. And then from there, you'll just select if you want 3 to 4 books in your book box. And then you even have the option to choose monthly, every other month, or quarterly. So in regards to the amount you get and how often, that is very much in your control. And we just switched to this Shopify site about, I want to say, 2 months ago. And it seems to be really great for the customers to be able to control, make changes on when they want stuff. So if you realize 2 months in a row, you've got 8 books and you're going, oh, that's more books. I wasn't prepared for that. You should be able to go in and easily switch it to quarterly or every other month. And of course, you can always contact me and to do that for you as well. The only one that has a little bit more complexity to it is our oldest book box, because there's so many kids in that 8 to 10. So if you can see them right there. So our little cub, little lion, and lion pride, and then you have the lion troop, and that's for my families that have every age in between. And we just try to get you 1 to 2 books in that age range, or from each age range. But the lion pride one, it's my favorite because it's the most difficult, but it's also the one that I get to read some really great stuff. Even though they're for younger kids, there's some really good books out there, but we have it separated. If you want to go ahead and click on the lion pride, you can do that. We decided to separate this one between our avid readers and our, more light readers, where they're just starting to enjoy chapter books. And so you can get to choose those 2 options. So those will have about 150 pages or less in each book if you're a light reader. And then you can choose to be an avid reader, which is 150 plus pages typically. But that one has an additional fee just because it is a lot of reading and it is a lot of time So those are for your older kiddos. And like, it's kind of the more complicated one, because you have some readers that are in there and they were like me and reading massive books, within within a week or less. And then you have others that are just starting to enjoy books.
Right. And first of all, to everybody out there who's got children reading 150-page books, congratulations, parents. I have to just say that because, I mean, like I said, my son was a maniac with books.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter, not so much. But they also got to really get excited. I would read these books during dinner time a lot. As we're all sitting there, I would read like a chapter or two to the kids as we're reading. And what was really fun is we loved a book so much that during Halloween, as we went to a carnival or something with them, they got to all dress up as a character from the book.
Oh, yeah.
And the whole family. So it was really fun for them. And it's one of their memories that they still remember today. They're like, remember when we all dressed up as the Land of Stories characters? And I'm like, right. So, I mean, it's just, I love it. I love reading. It made my love go on to them. And I just am really excited about that. So guys, if you notice too, if you subscribe, and so first of all, on the subscriptions, is that something you can cancel at any time?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's what I figured. But you save like $3 a month if you subscribe to it, and then you can always cancel it any time. So that's another avenue as well. But you have these books on here. Is these some of your collection, I would imagine?
Yeah, so those were some of our very first books that we put out. So it's just an example of some books that we put out. You may still get one if we are running low on inventory. We go to some of our older books, but most of those have been already put out within the first couple months. And so you kind of have, sometimes we'll put out, a devotional. So that one of the books in there is a devotional. Nobody returned that one, which I get nervous putting out devotionals because while they're great, not everybody's interested in doing a devotional, but I think some people want to do that with their kids, and then you have your fiction books. These are pretty much all fiction, but for example, last month then we put out our 4th of July books. And so we had an American History for Kids book that it was a little bit more of a fun read for a history book, but it was more of a history book. So we definitely do more fiction because that's my interest, but it might be historical fiction. It can be all kinds, but we will put out some books about, people. I think I have one about Martin Luther King coming out soon. Just fun stuff, trying to put it in. And I would say for homeschool moms, hopefully homeschool families, hopefully they might get something out of it as well. And again, if you get a book box one month and you're thinking, I really don't like any of these, you can return them. So then that's what I really wanted to do for people, because until I'm able to give you a personalized book shopper, you don't want to buy a box of books that you don't want any of them and then be stuck with them. So.
Right. I mean, and I understand. I want to click on this one too, because Alice's Adventures. I love it. I was thinking of something like this as well, and I'm glad there's a huge collection of different kind of things too. But you might not. So they can return one, or they can return the whole set that month.
They can return the whole set for the month. The only limitation is we ask that you return them within 7 days of receiving the box. And there should be a return label in the box so you can just put it on and ship it back. We did have one customer contact us that said, hey, my return label wasn't in there. Well, okay, you've contacted us within 7 days. Don't stress out about meeting that deadline. We will send you the return label and we get it back. So we do have a $10 non-refundable shipping fee, but the whole box itself would be returnable.
So another question, let's say that just that 1 month they may not be happy with all the selection. Do they wait until the next month to get new books, or do you replace them immediately with something?
It would just be within the next month.
Okay.
The next month they'd get them.
Okay. So you're not waiting very long, everybody, but how exciting is that? And I was thinking of The Velveteen Rabbit as a great book that's not necessarily Christian based, but it's a great, classic. And so when I see things like Alice and whatever, and stuff like that, there's some great classics in here as well. And I love that you put a devotional in there as well, because I think personally we need to, teach our kids to have faith. That's one of the things I really pride about my school, because if they don't have faith, they don't have faith in themselves. And that's something that we need to teach them, so they know that they are possible, and they know that they can be anything they want to be, but it starts with having that inner faith, right? So I'm really happy that you do that. These are amazing. I love this idea, everyone. I really do. I love this idea. How has it been going so far? You just said you just opened. So how's the response been going?
So far, it's been really positive. We actually we incorporated in August, but we didn't open the book boxes actually until January. So I've been very happy with the response so far. We haven't had a lot of complaints, or we haven't had any complaints really at all. I know that, a lot of people, even if they're not subscribing, they love the idea, they love the concept. And so we've really appreciated just the support, whether it's following us on Instagram and Facebook or in Now Truth. Just the support alone has been really refreshing, especially, sometimes whenever you get that little devil telling you don't know what you're doing, you can't do this. But our customers and just friends, I guess you could call them. I mean, even though I've never met them, but they've been supporting us, and it's been really wonderful. I've also met just so many, like you said, connections we do work with independent authors. So I do get a lot of sent to me, and it takes me a long time to sift through them. And one of the issues that I have is because we have a set price point, sometimes a book won't fit in our price point, And so one way I go around that is sometimes I'll purchase from the independent author and go to events, like the Great Homeschool Convention, things like that to promote them. But oftentimes I have to try and fit them in each month within that price point. So, but meeting so many independent authors that are doing wonderful things with their books has been really neat.
Nice. I love that you're getting such support and that people are reaching out to you. A little FYI, everybody, apparently it's storming here. So just if you were coming in a little bit bad, I apologize. Just bear with us. We'll come right back in. I saw that I was gone for a second, but it's just storming out, and we're just gonna say no, not today, right? But that's what I'm like, no, not today. I love this though. I mean, what a great idea. I'm so glad you got inspired.
Yes.
I always kind of laugh. My husband, my personal husband, I'm more of the dreamer myself, and he kind of keeps me more grounded. And he's a really great compliment to me, because, it helps me focus realistically on my plan and what I want to do moving forward, because I'd just be stuck up there in dreamland half the time. But I love that your husband got involved in this, and he's very supportive. That's awesome.
Yes. Couldn't do it without him. He is my, I guess he helped set me up for events, and we've managed to get this really nice little setup. We look like a little bookstore at all of these events that we go to, and his support on, building it for me, and then also watching the kids whenever I'm doing that kind of stuff. So yes, it's been really nice. I don't know that he would have been as supportive if God hadn't also let him know. So he loves what I'm doing, and he loves that, for me, it is a way just to get more faith-filled books into kids' hands, because we are a Christian company. Like I said, not all of the books are going to be, labeled Christian, but we do try to put in 1 to 2 books in each box that is a Christian book. And so for me, it's one of my ways of just sharing God's message through books to children and their parents.
Right.
I pray and hope that people that, just maybe like our values and maybe want to learn more, you don't have to be Christian to buy our books. And so I hope that, anybody can enjoy these books. Like I said, it's just the only thing that we're really screening for is that it aligns with our values, and no really hidden agenda behind them.
Nice. I love that. Everybody, I mean, her website is just so easy to find. And again, I'll tell everybody that I always share the links to get a hold of everybody, every guest I have. I will put this underneath our permanent chats under Rumble. So when you go underneath the episode, you'll see the permanent chats there and all the links to find this and to reach out to her, whether it's the social medias or her website in general. But this is really easy. It's faith.lit.com. And I don't know who did this website for you, but it is beautifully done.
It was, I'll give them a shout out. It was Salem Media. They came in and did all of that. And if you need a contact, I have a good one, but they really came through.
Nice. And I had a blessing come into my life too. And she just revamped our whole website for the school. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I couldn't have asked. A website will just, it can make you. And this is beautifully done. I just love it. What is the thing with the cub? Because I see that you have tigers involved. So I have a question about that.
So that's a great question. So one of the things that in my mind, all the cutesy animals are for the kids. But the lioness in my logo is for the moms and dads, of course, but I'm the mom. So that's what came to mind. And when I was creating the logo, I just kept thinking of a lioness protecting her cubs. And oh man, do I have it on me right now? One of the scriptures that came to mind was about, you don't want to mess with a lioness because of, what she can do. And so that's just, that lioness is kind of how I feel a mom that might purchase our books, is just looking out for her kid and, protecting their child. So that's where the lioness comes from. Again, the logo is a little bit more fierce and more for the mom. But all the animals are for the cutesy animals are more for the kids, for sure.
Well, you're so right about that though too. I have been called that for so long, especially with the three that I have. Right? I mean, I am a guard, a protector. I mean, unbelievable. Everybody's like, "Aren't you the tiger mama?" I'm like, yes, and I own that proudly. I mean, as we see what's going on with our youth all over the place, and then we saw with let's bring up the child trafficking situation. But yeah, to bring that up, I mean, they could be gone in a second.
Yes.
And I'm like, I want to defend my kids, and if I call me a helicopter mom or you call me a tiger mama, I own that proudly.
Mm-hmm.
Because I want to make sure my kids are guarded, protected, and very well educated.
Mm-hmm.
And so they face and grow up and face this world. But I love it. So shout out to all the tiger mamas out there. I believe in you. Don't let them make you feel bad.
Yeah, don't.
I love your logo.
Thank you.
It resonated so much with me because I feel like that, and that's how moms should be, definitely protecting their young. And that's a great example. But the logo's beautiful.
Thank you. That makes me so happy to hear, because sometimes my ideas doesn't mean it goes along with everybody else's. So a few of the moms I've worked with, that has actually very much resonated with them as well. So it's nice to hear, again, that somebody else felt a connection with it.
Oh, I did. I personally, that's like one of my favorite animals. I have a few. I've been really admiring the lion lately, but I think it's because so many artists are putting pictures of the lion, like with Christ and so forth, the lion and the lamb, or
yes,
I'm liking that. But personally, like the tiger and elephants are my favorite. So I mean, even my mom, when I had my name done, she made a little thing the years back, like when I was younger, teenager, she had my name in the description, like the meaning of my name, and behind it was a tiger.
Oh wow.
And I was like, oh, wow, exactly.
She knew you. She knew you
already. She's like, this girl is just going to roar.
Yeah.
And so I love it. Very nicely done. And a huge shout out to Salem Media. That's awesome. Good job. So where we go next with you? So you are up and you're running. And where do people find you? What social medias are you on?
So I'm on Instagram and Facebook are the main two. I do have a Pinterest. I'm just not very good at it currently. But faith-lit.com is my website. You can connect through my social medias on there, or my handle on Facebook is Faith Lit Children's Book Club. and then all one word. And then for Instagram, it's faithlit_book club.
Okay. Beautiful.
So, yes.
Beautiful. And
any support, just following is, like I said, just feeling the support from follows and likes and things like that is always very helpful.
It is. I don't think people really understand. I ask for this, all the time, like every time I do a show, because it's not about money. It's about awareness. And the more likes you get, the more it gets out there and people see it. It promotes your show or promotes, a certain thing, but it helps you get awareness and get seen more. And it doesn't cost a single thing. It's a great time for me to remind everybody, please hit those like buttons, or follow and share. And it doesn't cost you a single thing, but it sure does help you get awareness. And whoever my guests are, or me get awareness, or anything like that. It really helps, and it's so important to do so. And I would be so Instagram kind of and Facebook, are they giving you any trouble at all?
So far, not that I'm aware of. There's a chance I might have been shadow banned at one point because I shared some stuff with Brave Books, and I've been told that they're pretty much a given. If you share them, that you get shadow banned. But so far it's been okay. Like I said, I'm not really, one of the things, there's a lot of really great moms out there. And if you follow me, I will share their stories as well. There's moms that their focus is finding bad books to make you aware. And there's a lot of Instagram moms that do this, and I'll often share their posts. But for me, I'm not really trying to, I'm like, it's a waste of my time actually to find these books. They just keep coming, really upsetting me because I had a book the other day. I was just so excited and thrilled. I'm reading it and I'm like, oh, this is going to be a great one. I can't wait to put this one in. And it was in the list of top books and all these things. And last page, it's got to talk about sexuality. And I'm like, I just wasted a ton of time on this. So it doesn't benefit me to find them. I'm just coming across them all the time. But there's a lot of great moms that's their goal. And so when you do follow me, I will share those when I run across them. We do share some of our books, like you'll see pictures and images of our books that we are promoting. So I would say if you're following me, hopefully at the very least, if you don't do anything else, you can get some of that awareness. And hey, these books are being vetted. These books are being screened. And I really, that's the main thing, I guess, because if you're not using me, if you're not researching the books yourself, if you're not using, other Instagram moms, if you're not using anything, your kids are going to find some really awful stuff out there. Right. And you're not going to have any clues. So I really do, kind of like you said, awareness, just start. It's more work than it needs to be. But if you follow me, follow, all these start following other Bookstagram moms and things like that. And I really do think you'll find some value in that.
Nice. Sure. I love that. I'm already thinking of other people too, because I know Cash Patel just wrote a book as well. He Goes to Truth. I mean, I'm just already thinking of people that would just really love to. I would personally love to see those books from like Leah and Cash or whatever come to my house and just helping out and collaborating, and they are written for children. They are just really phenomenal. And I would be so excited to see those kind of show up with something like, the Velveteen Rabbit or whatever. I'd be like, oh my gosh, what a collection, And I keep them, guys. I have a library in here, and that just brings up another awareness. I have a personal library behind me of children's books, teens books, middle-aged and stuff as we read them for school. Or I've read them to my kids, which I've kept. But we don't think about even, we're fighting the libraries and the systems that have the books, but you guys don't even think about like teachers' personal libraries. So these kids can get books from anywhere that you may or may not agree with. And it might be just nice to counteract that or whatever, whether you're homeschooling or not. But you might say, okay, these books are in the library and we fought to get them out, but what's in the teacher's classroom?
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely.
So, we need to sometimes deprogram the kids when they come home by reading great books together as well. Because again, you don't know what's going on in that school per se. And maybe it's great, maybe it's not, but you're not there to vet them, and they don't share a list with you either.
No, not of their personal library, that's for sure.
Right. And that sometimes can be the most dangerous of areas. But We're hoping that, most teachers aren't, but, we know that some are not so great. I am so excited for this. I welcome to Truth. I should, Truth Social, you need to give me like a little bonus because I'm always like, welcome to
Yeah.
Truth. I just love that. The group thing is awesome, and it's so nice to see that you're already getting a reaction. People are reaching out to you. I highly suggest the homeschool groups. You can just kind of go to Truth and Google or whatever, look under groups and write homeschool. There's so many of them. I just can't wait for you to collaborate more. If there's authors out there that you meet, please share them with me because we want to promote. We want to promote each other and see what you're doing,
Yes, that is actually one of the things I put in my book boxes. I started adding a little card if it's an independent author to let you know, because those guys aren't going to get as much as a published or working with a publisher. So I try to encourage people to write reviews on, their Amazon or Goodreads accounts. I really try hard to let the parents know everything I think that they need to know about these books beforehand. We're not going to be perfect, but we're working really hard.
I love it. So I always ask my guests one thing before they leave, and I forewarn you. But, I know there's somebody out there sitting there going, oh, could I write a book? Or how would I start a little club like that? Or how do I start up my own business? It might not even be a book club, guys, or a book kit club. But, you worked through and got your LLC. So you have some knowledge of how to start something. And I think people get held back with the thought, first of all, I can't do it. Right. Number one. And number two, it's too hard or I don't know how. And I always ask for words of inspiration for my guests. Like if you could say something to our audience about starting something or collaborating with something, how would you inspire our guests?
Well, so I feel like I've got multiple answers. I guess the first one is to pray about it. And even like I felt silly asking for specific requests of, this sermon on Sunday, this would be a really good time to let me know. But he answered, and I truly believe if it wasn't for me, he would have told me no. And so I think that first of all, praying about your idea and asking for God's guidance on it is the number one. The second thing is that, it is scary to start something. And one of my books that I was vetting for the kids actually just gave me a lot of inspiration. It's a cute little book about animals, and it asks a funny question about an animal, and then it gives you information about that animal and the answer. And so one of the questions was, does a honey badger really not care? And it goes on to tell you about how honey badgers really don't care. They love honey to the point that they will die trying to get into a beehive. They, whenever they get bit by a snake, it does not affect them and they will kill that snake. And whenever they see a leopard or a lion, they snarl at these creatures that are so much bigger than them. And so it made me just think about how we all need to be honey badgers for Christ and for our passion, and be willing to die for Christ, be willing to put yourself out there and just not care about the response. There's really only one person that you need to be concerned about, and that's Jesus Christ and what he thinks about what you're doing. And then if you see a snake, you can take it out, and just to not be afraid of those guys that look bigger and scarier than you. And so I might seem silly, but I read a lot of silly books these days. So my advice would be to be a honey badger in your life.
And this is a story that she told me, everybody. I was like, you've got to tell that story. I love it because they have no fear.
They have none, no fear.
And that's where, they want to keep you. They want you to doubt yourself. They want you to say, no, you can't do this, whatever's holding you back, that fear. And that's exactly where, you can say the evil, you can say Satan, you can say whatever it is, but the evil forces, the negative forces, that's all the same. They don't want you to be, and, they don't want you to be successful. And when you told me that story, I was like, oh my gosh, I love it. Be the honey badger, everyone. Be the honey badger. Have no fear.
Yes.
Right? Go after that snake. Go after that honey pot. And, just know that who's got your back.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I love this.
Absolutely.
That's just a beautiful story. I'm not gonna steal that from you, but I'm gonna probably use
You
that.
can. That's okay.
Remember, be the honey badger. I love it.
Yes.
I love it. So thank you so much. It's just such an honor to have you on and have your guests on. I don't know if eventually you're going to go on digital with Clayton, because Clayton, everybody, if you don't know, he was on my previous podcast about a few months ago. And so he has audio books. Is that something that you're thinking about collaborating with him in the future?
Yeah, we're thinking about collaborating more so on just maybe possibly promotions. Sign up with me, get something from him, and vice versa, because we have basically the same goal in mind. But he's going to have a much broader age range. So,
well, and I like the idea too. Like if you're traveling or you're on the road, you would have a digital version or something with you. I mean, I'm so old school. I love to physically have the book. But there's a lot of new families that aren't. So I hope that there's something in the future that you guys could work out where
that would be amazing. Yes, absolutely.
Right. And I just wish you the best success. Again, welcome to Truth. Everybody go on Truth, go follow her, find out how to invite her to one of the groups, everyone. I don't even know all the groups, and I'm trying to find them all, but there's so many. So if you guys could share different groups that you think that she might be interested in, and then if you guys have books or authors, please let us know. Not only would love to highlight them, but it just helps out. Have you checked out this book? Or, when it's great to collaborate with each other, and then it also shows we're not alone. We're
Absolutely.
in this together. And I love that feeling, because again, besides fear, another thing that they, the Satan and his forces want us to think is that we're all alone, right? That nobody's out there doing anything, and that's so not true.
Absolutely.
So not true. I just love it. We're going to give you another shout out. Everybody, you need to go to her website. It's faith lit, L-I-T, faith-lit.com. And you know what? If nothing else, sign up for that newsletter. Find out what books are going on.
Yes.
There. There's an email there for her for info. If you have any questions, you could do that. I will include that email below in my stream as well. So you guys can be able to just click on those kind of things and reach out. We just sure love you here and love to have you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Anything else that you'd like to tell us?
No, it's been a pleasure to be on here, and it's been so fun getting to know you. Like you said, collaborations, and honestly, just I guess to add to my advice is, once you step into this, where you take what Christ asks you, meeting more people that are like-minded, like you said, is just so wonderful. And so I add you to that, and I just really appreciate you letting me come on, and then just getting to know you and your story as well.
Oh, thank you. I mean, that we're working backwards with my school, but we're testing out a few grades, and I can't wait for us, because I'll tell you, once we start rolling out elementary, everyone, this will be something I absolutely sign on for, at least for my school, because we do this together. We read together. We do projects. We do artwork. We do all kinds of things based off the book we're reading, even doing writings or poetry or book reviews, or this year they were doing sculpture art that was reflective into, well, at least my high schoolers, it was a reflection of the books they were reading.
Oh, wow.
So, right, really bringing that, that in and help building that retention. And I just can't wait to have the elementary schools rolling. We're just going backwards again. Like I said, I was focused so much on the suicide rates and our youth hitting the streets right away that I started with high school. But I'm excited to join. I've already, the newsletter for sure. I've signed up for that. And I love it. I have a neighbor I'll be showing this to. So everybody, do what you can to help support it. Again, whether it's this program or on her personal Facebooks or Instagrams or Truth, it really helps out when you guys like on things and share them. We definitely appreciate that. All of us appreciate that so much, right? Yeah. And help each other grow, everybody, because that's what our beautiful country is about, is everybody rising up. So thank you so much, Brittany. It's been a true pleasure. When you have anything new or any new relationships or promotions, come back.
Okay,
because
I
I
will.
would
Absolutely.
love to highlight that.
Absolutely.
Okay, fantastic. All right, thank you so much and have a wonderful weekend. Give those babies a big, huge kiss for me and
I
big hugs
will.
because we know how much our tiger mamas love our babies, right?
Yes, ma'am. I will.
All right, be blessed.
Bye.
All right, everyone. I am so excited to bring, these guests. I think you guys have heard me talk about that so much. It's just a highlight. Um, and the reason I started is because I would just kept hearing about, that's almost this fear every day to the point where I had to like just back out of watching a lot of news because I didn't want to live in that world of just fear and feeling like we're alone. And it's a real privilege to have you guys on to be able to share what wonderful things you're doing in the communities. I mean, it blows me away, whether it's artwork or you're writing books or you're starting companies or you're promoting that, you're running for office, you're starting programs in the library. I mean, I want to know about it. So if you're interested on coming on my show, just please reach out. You can see below me, it's a True Social, right? I'm Lady Hamilton Art. I put that one on there, but you can find me on Twitter and Facebook and everything is Lady Hamilton Art. Or you can write to me, excuse me, you can write to me underneath our posts. I always read the posts on Rumble. And thank you, first of all, so much for your kind words. You guys, I am just thrilled with the love I receive from your comments. I really, really appreciate that. It just makes me smile so much. And I love that you guys are sharing this out on the social medias for us and helping promote these guests. I really, really appreciate you. But this is how you do it, right? This is how you do it. You show that you're not alone. You don't have that fear. You're the honey badger. I love it. This is a great story. Be the honey badger. I'm not going to forget that, or the tiger mama or both, but have no fear. You're never alone. You always have God with you. And it's just amazing. And that's something else we need to teach our young ones, right? That you're never alone. You've got not only, your Father in heaven, but you've got your family around you. And I think that's a lot of times the problem that our youth are facing, especially when you start getting to middle school and high school. They just feel like they're lost, or they're alone. They don't know that they're missing an element. And we need to reintroduce them to that element so that then they know that they're possible. And this is why I get banned a lot on social medias, because I say all youth are possible. And I'm going to say that till I die. I'm sorry. I don't care where you come from, what your background is, if you're rich or poor, what color you are, all youth are possible. And what a time to be that, because you can design your own programs, you make your own businesses, you have so many pathways. And as an educator, right, I really believe in the foundations and the pathways to show that you how to accomplish that. So I love having everybody on. And just as we can say this, as we're speaking about this beautiful school, I'm so excited. We are running a fundraiser per se, because we want to give students scholarships, as many as we possibly can. So that's running right now on Truth. So if you can give to that in any way, the Give, Send, and Go, that would be amazing, because I get a lot of reach out for parents who want to come, but we're all in a financial situation. And even $5 helps. If you go to buy art supplies, go to buy a microscope, it all goes to something to support the students. Artworks for sale, and we are actually going to be working on some new things that are going to be coming out with too, to help with our students and help our parents around the nation be able to come, and that's super exciting. So make sure that you're following us on Truth, because a lot of things are happening on there, and I'm super excited about that. But we will also be sharing on Facebook and in Twitter and so forth of the things we're doing in the next month. But our students also make our wonderful commercials, and this girl is just phenomenal. So one of our sponsors happens to be Hamilton Liberty Academy. So any way you guys can do to help spread the word on that, so parents know who we are. We're a nationwide online private school with live interaction, project-based art integration. I even did a video on this, right? I did a show about and introduced you to our new website and exactly the kind of things that we do to help our youth meet those standards and those foundations and be able to have beautiful futures. So that really helps us out. So I want to make sure that I am sharing this with you, as they are definitely one of the sponsors here, and we absolutely appreciate that. If you guys can give anything to our families so that they can continue coming or start coming to Hamilton Liberty Academy. I know that those parents would truly appreciate your help. And I'm saying personally, thank you so much, because they might be facing something that they don't want to face and they don't have any other choice. And I'm happy and thrilled that we can provide something different and bring educational excellence back. So I'm personally saying thank you if you can help out with that as well. Again, you can find those links or go to hamiltonlibertyacademy.com and you can see those links under Get Involved. And definitely sign up for our newsletter so you can see what's happening there as well. But all due respect to our beautiful students, let me introduce you to one of their commercials. I am just checking on you guys. Thank you so much for your wonderful things that you're saying in the chats and on Rumble. I really appreciate that. Again, it's just so nice to hear from you and hear your wonderful things that you say. I appreciate that, everyone. Again, if you can at least like, follow, and share, that helps us so much. It just doesn't help me. It helps my wonderful guests so that they can get awareness of what they're building and the programs they're starting or the books they're writing or whatever they're doing to start something. It really helps us out, and we so appreciate that. So with that being said, there's a few things, and wasn't that commercial beautiful? She drew that in like one setting and taped it in one setting, and I'm like, oh boy, she needs to become one of those speed artists like we had with Christine on last Friday. Just blew me away, that kind of talent. And I'm thankful. That was a really great thing. That's our mascot. It always has been a stallion, but we call the stallion Liberty, as I'm losing my voice here. And she did a very, very good job. All right. A few things I wanted to share with you before we left today. Let me just get that up here. I thought I would show you something that was really beautifully said. And it is from a teenager. And it just kind of goes to show you. I'm just loading that up right now. It's a quick video, but it was just one of the most powerful messages. And it says it's a very powerful message, but it shows you something amazing about our youth. And it really touched my heart. So I'm going to put this on screen here so I can load it up for you. But it is a very powerful message of just how easy we can affect our children and their lives. If it lets me. I'm trying. There we go. Let's see, it's taking a minute. Everyone bear with me. The storm is crazy. Let me try to remove it and add it again. Sorry, everyone. Give me 1 second here. Are you going to let us show it? I'll try it again. It does not want to be loaded. Okay, let me try refreshing the screen here and see if that helps. Sometimes, right? Some things, and it's really a beautiful message. And I have a beautiful song for everyone as well tonight. As this is our youth are always on our mind. Let's see if I can add it now. Give me just 1 second, everybody. Thank you for why hit those thumbs up for me. I appreciate that. Thank you. I see that on Facebook. Thank you so much. I don't know why it just does not want to be loaded. Not today. Let's say that. Not today. We are going to show this video. Wow. We're like, we are going to show this video. You're not going to take this away. This young man shows us a very beautiful example of our youth, and it's really a great message. And it just is fighting me on this. Somebody say a prayer. It is fighting like crazy. There we go. Thank you. If somebody's out there saying a prayer, thank you so much. All right, let's pause this and put this up on full screen here. All right. Yay. So somebody said a prayer for us out there. Thank you so much. I'm going to tell you thank you so much. All right, let's look at this video. See, wasn't that beautiful? Right? Be kind, light somebody's fire, basically. When somebody's burnt out, all we need to do is come and respark them. And I just really love that. It makes me really think of our youth as they are lost or they're burnt out or they're, just feeling so low and they just don't have another spark. Go be that spark, right? Absolutely be that spark. And, just reignite them, reignite their ability to believe in themselves, reignite their passion, reignite their faith, let them know that they're possible. It's just so important. Even if you don't have kids, there's another way, you can always find a way to do that. Be a great neighbor, right? Just find a way to be a help and reignite our children, because I feel like they're just getting lost. And that just breaks my heart. And that was such a beautiful video that I will include in the links as well if you want to have that and share that. It just really made my day. So as we are closing up our episode today, please remember again to like and share this out. I personally appreciate that. And I always have a show. I always have a song. And you know how much I love our youth. And this is another group, another elementary song, another elementary choir singing one of my favorite songs. I always, when I was painting, this came around, and it's originally from Andra Day, still is, but it's originally from her. And the words of it just resonated with me. And as I would be painting or feeling down, it just was an amazing, uplifting song for me. And so I want you to leave today on that note, giving you something that gives you the ability to feel like you are ignited, that we're kindling that spark. Maybe you've lost it yourself. And I hope that this video helps do that. I thank you so much for tuning in today. I will see you guys on Sunday. Sunday's show, we are going to be talking about food storage. I've been really working hard. I'm getting a lot of tomatoes all of a sudden. So I'm going to be showing you how to boil, freeze those, vacuum seal those kind of things. How do we preserve and save the food that we're growing in the garden, since we've been talking a lot about gardening lately. And of course, we're going to have great prayer and scriptures that go along with this and talk about healthy eating again. But how do we preserve the food from our gardens? I mean, a lot of times we eat it up immediately, and that's great. But, sometimes we get extra abundance, and it's a good idea to save those. So we'll be going over how to save and store our foods. And that is Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So please join me for Headmaster's Homeroom Sunday Solutions. And then next Friday, we're going to have another amazing guest. I'm just confirming that up. I'm so excited to always introduce what people are doing in their communities. And I look forward to seeing from you, hearing from you. And you guys share the word, spread the word, and I hope you have the most blessed day. So let's add this to our stream, and I'll see everybody Sunday. Look this up so everybody can. There we go. Have a blessed Friday, everyone. Enjoy your weekend, and I will see you Sunday. Enjoy this song.
Broken down and tired of living life on a merry-go-round, and you can't find the fighter, but I see it in you, so we gonna walk it out and move mountains. We gonna walk it out and move mountains. Our eyes like the day, our eyes unafraid, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. Our eyes like the day, our eyes unafraid, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. Silence is quiet, and it feels like it's getting hard to breathe. I know you feel like dying, but I promise we'll bring the world to its feet. Ooh, mountains, bring it to its feet. Ooh, mountains. Our eyes of the day, our eyes unafraid, and do it 1,000 times again. And for you, for you, for you. All we need is love, and for that we have each other, and for that we have each other, and we will rise, and we'll rise up, we'll rise. Our eyes of the day, our eyes up. In spite of the air, I will rise, we will rise, I will rise, we will rise. Our eyes like the day, our eyes With